Hi, I'm Tim Hungerford. Recently I did a webinar on remotely managing fraud during a crisis. I hope you'll enjoy it. Let's get into online interview queues. So you're conducting interviews online, and here are some of the basic challenges right off the bat. You've got people who turn off their videos, so you can't see their expressions or what they're doing during the interview. If you're doing an interview that really need that on, you need to make sure that's understood up front and that they make sure that video is working and on. I know a lot of people say, oh, my video isn't working. So that's another excuse. You've got to try to figure out how to be flexible, as we said before, and try to figure out how to work through those errors and issues. People will also like to look at themselves. So you've got a video and you've got a whole bunch of people, but you're probably looking at how you're looking. Of course, they're looking at how they're looking, so they're not really seeing how you're looking. But, that could be deceptive as far as what their eye movements are and things. So that's why it's really important to, in an interview process, especially online, to establish calibration. Now, calibration is observing the normal tendencies of that interviewee. So you're going to gauge their responses with some very easy or general questions. Don't forget to put those on your list. Brainstorm those ahead of time, because all of a sudden you're into an online interview and you just dive into the questions of importance to you. You haven't had a chance to establish rapport. You haven't had a chance to calibrate how that individual answers questions. You can usually gain that through general questions about their background, their career, their family, favorite sports teams, whatever it is that you're establishing that uh, uh, calibration through, and listen to their voice patterns. What do they normally sound like? How are they normally coming across when they're relaxed and comfortable answering these general questions? Watch their eye movements, because it will be an indicator later on. This is one of the reasons why you want to ask them about their past, because it'll give you an identifier for whether they're visually dominant. So if they're visually dominant, they like to look at things, so they like pictures, they like drawings, they like to look at things, so they will look up and to the left, or look up or look straight ahead when they're being truthful. If they're audio dominant, where they really like to hear things more, and it's more of a spoken conversation, they will tend to look down or straight to the left when they're truthful. Now, here's the other trick is, you might need to establish up front what's left and right when you're looking at them on their monitor, you know? So that's something you'll have to finagle into the conversation early on through the general. There's a coffee cup, you know, and just try to understand whether it's on your left or right, or if they're right-handed, which hand they're moving. You're going to have to establish that some way. And then finally, if they're tactically dominant, it'll vary. But generally, they'll look down when they're telling the truth and thinking about a historical event, and they may blink. They may even close their eyes to recall that memory. So what you want to do is, hey, what did you think of that big play this weekend? How did you meet your spouse? So they have to go back into their memory and describe something, and then how they do that will be how you establish what type of dominant personality they are uh, for the interview. So that's part of the calibration process.